Welcome all to 5 Minutes with Kerusso. I'm Whitney. Thank you for spending this Friday with me. Today, I would like to talk about how we comfort one another in times of hardship and loss. So that's kind of been a trademark for this whole past year for a lot of us, especially in a global pandemic. We've seen all kinds of loss. We've seen people lose jobs, lose financial security, lose their health, or worse, even lose family members. And we've seen a rise in depression and anxiety. So in addition to losing physical health, we've seen a loss of mental health as well. And everybody's just really having a hard time right now. And what we've seen since practically forever is when someone is struggling, oftentimes what they'll do is they'll try to seek out a church community and go there looking for some kind of healing or some kind of comfort or some kind of support. And this is a great place to do that. Ideally, someone should be able to go to church and be able to find that kind of long-lasting support and comfort. Doesn't always quite happen though, does it? And I'm calling myself out for this just as much as anybody else, because I know it's so easy when we see someone that we care about come up to us and say, oh, well, someone I know just died and I just lost my job and I don't know how to make a resume. It's so easy, especially in a situation where we don't quite know what to say or don't feel like anything that we say could fix their situation. It's so easy to break out those platitudes and just be like, oh, well, I hope everything works out for you and good luck, and leave it at that. And that's a great disservice that we do to each other, because in that moment, it's really easy to look for a quick fix or maybe try to say something that will just fix their problem for them or make them feel better in the moment. But I want to take a look at what the Bible has to say about truly bringing comfort to one another. So I'm going to go to Job, which, poor Job, probably suffered more than anybody else in this whole book. Oh, this man lost all of his children, all of his livestock, all of his crops, all of his homestead, only had his wife. And even then, she didn't really support him, and lost his physical health as well, was afflicted with diseases. So this poor man was brought so low and brought to rock bottom to be tested by God. So in chapter 2, we see 3 friends of Job's. And the rest of the book deals with them discoursing with him about his relationship with God. But before they do that, before they even do anything, the very first thing that they do in chapter 2, verse 12, it says, when they saw him from a distance, they could hardly recognize him. They began to weep aloud, and they tore their robes and sprinkled dust on their heads. Then they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights. No one said a word to him, because they saw how great his suffering was. And this has stuck around in Jewish tradition. There is a practice called sitting Shiva, which I know I'm not pronouncing correctly, and I apologize. But it means 7. And it's a 7-day mourning period where close relatives will stay with the bereaved for right after the funeral. They'll stay there for a week with them and just be with them. And this opens up space for for the individual who's suffering a loss to experience and confront all of the grief and the sadness that they're feeling. And it just allows them to feel the breadth of their sorrow so that they can move past it and be able to heal from it later on. But it lets them know that they're not alone so that they can do this in a really healthy way. And that's what we need, isn't it? I know if I'm having a hard time, I don't like hearing the platitudes. If I'm struggling with, I don't know, paying rent for a month, I don't want to hear someone say, oh, well, good luck. That doesn't help. So, and so often when we are the ones struggling, we don't want to stop and feel all of those sad and negative emotions, because that's not fun. So sometimes we try to push ourselves through it so that we can just get to feeling better. And that's not really bringing us the healing that we need. So what can we do for each other to help each other get through these difficult times of struggle and hardship? I think what we can take away from this is that the best thing we can do for one another is just be there. Be there with the person. Be there with their emotion. Just sit in the sadness with them. Let them be sad. You feel sad too. And just empathize with them. Feel what they feel. Because sometimes nothing needs to be said. Sometimes nothing can be said. Sometimes nothing will fix it. But being present for someone struggling like that will make more of a difference than anything else you could do. I hope you're blessed this week. And if you have a chance to bring comfort and healing to someone who is struggling, I pray that you do it in the best way that you can and just be present for them. I will see you next time.